Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Dominic and I'd like to welcome you all to the 10th episode of Spotlight Game of Thrones, the series in which we take a look at some of the characters who feature in the A Song of Ice and Fire novels, but are yet to be seen on the hit HBO show. So if you love Game of Thrones and want to know more about the world and its characters outside of the TV show, you've come to the right place. Just to be on the safe side going forward, I'd just like to say that if you don't want any spoilers for the TV show or the books, then you should probably come back later, as I may touch upon some sensitive plot points. Now on today's show, I'd first like to thank one of my viewers, Liz Bennett Genova, for the character suggestion. For today we will be looking at none other than Genna Lannister, the only daughter of Lord Tytos Lannister and Lady Jean Marbrand, the elder sister to Tigget and Geryon Lannister, and of course the younger sister to both Kevin and yes, Tywin Lannister. I'd also like to quickly say that I have a bit of a cold at the time of recording, so I'm sorry if I sound a little bit run down. Anyway, let's get into things. As always, before we get started on Genna, let's take a brief look at House Lannister and their standing within the Seven Kingdoms. Now, as I'm sure you all know, House Lannister is the wealthiest of the great houses, and they are the Wardens of the West. Their ancestral seat is Casterly Rock, a great stone castle carved out of a colossal rock beside the Sunset Sea, and their words are, "Hear me roar," although they are perhaps better known for their unofficial motto, "A Lannister always pays his debts." It should also be known that another branch of House Lannister exists known as House Lannister of Lannisport. Now, the Lannisters are said to descend from the folk hero Lan the Clever, who purportedly existed thousands of years ago during the Age of Heroes, and is believed to have swindled the seat of Casterly Rock from its previous occupants, House Casterly. Exactly how he did this, or if he did in fact even do this at all, is widely disputed, but whatever the case, House Casterly suddenly disappeared from the histories of Westeros, and in its place appears House Lannister as kings of the Westerlands. Now, although it's true the Lannisters are now an Andal house, they were originally descended from the First Men, Lan the Clever himself being one such ancestor. You see, House Lannister fought the Andal invaders when they invaded Westeros, but eventually took to arranging marriages between themselves and the Andals in order to foster peace. When King Gerald III Lannister died without a male heir, the son of his only daughter, an Andal man named Sir Joffrey Lyddon, was crowned king, and in doing so he took the Lannister name, turning the Lannisters into an Andal house. They remained the kings of the Rock until the coming of Aegon Targaryen and his dragons. Thereon after they ruled as lords. The Lannisters' immense wealth stems from the gold mines of Casterly Rock, Castamere, the Pendrick Hills and the Golden Tooth. In more recent times, the Lannister name had fallen on disrepute with the reign of Lord Tytos Lannister. His fumblings, however, would be undone by his eldest son, Lord Tywin Lannister, who managed to bring all the Lannister bannermen to heel and restore the house to its former glory. Now that we know a little about House Lannister, let's take a look at Tytos' only daughter and Tywin's only sister, Lady Genna Lannister. Genna Lannister was born in 245 AC to Lord Tytos Lannister and Lady Jean Marbrand. Although shapely in her youth, she grew to become a large, fearsome and intelligent woman. Due to Tytos' penchant for seeking the admiration of others, Genna's father agreed for his only daughter to be betrothed to Lord Walder Frey's second son. Genna was only 7 at the time. Even though he was only a boy, Tywin Lannister had the sense enough to consider the match unfit. His outspoken denouncement of the arrangement is the reason that Genna always thinks of Tywin with affection. When Jaime Lannister asks his aunt Genna if she loved Tywin, she replies, "I was 7 when Walder Frey persuaded my lord father to give my hand to M, his second son, not even his heir. Father was himself a third-born son, and younger children crave the approval of their elders. Frey sensed that weakness in him, and father agreed for no better reason than to please him. My betrothal was announced at a feast with half the West in attendance. Elin Tarbeck laughed, and the Red Lion went angry from the hall. The rest sat on their tongues. Only Tywin dared speak against the match. A boy of 10, father turned as white as mare's milk, and Walder Frey was quivering. How could I not love him after that? That is not to say that I approved of all he did, or much enjoyed the company of the man that he became, but every little girl needs a big brother to protect her. Tywin was big even when he was little. Who will protect us now?" Although she was now afraid, Genna and her husband remained at Casterly Rock. It is said that though she had been afraid for 50 years, Lady Genna remained very much a Lannister, quite a lot of Lannister. Genna is domineering and willful, and she exacts her nature over her husband Emmon Frey, who is described thusly. Emmon Frey was a fretful man with nervous hands. He might have weighed 10 stone, but only wet and clad in mail. He was a weed in wool, with no chin to speak of, a flaw that the prominence of the apple in his throat made even more absurd. Half his hair had been gone before he turned 30, now he was 60 and only a few white wisps remained. Despite her reservations, Genna did her duty and gave Emmon Frey 4 sons, although Jaime casts some aspersions on the legitimacy of their conception, remembering many a feast where Emmon sat poking at his food sullenly whilst his wife made ribald jests with whatever household knight had been seated to her left, their conversations punctuated by loud bursts of laughter. She gave Frey Frey 4 sons to be sure. At least she says they are his. No one in Casterly Rock had the courage to suggest otherwise, least of all Sir Aemon. Following the death of Tywin's wife Joanna, Genna became a maternal figure towards his 3 children. She would pinch Jaime's ear, and she also consoled Cersei after King Aerys Targaryen refused Tywin's proposal to marry her to his son Rhaegar. Genna is also observant of Tyrion's particular talents and thinks him more Tywin's son than even Jaime. She says to Jaime, "Sweetling, I have known you since you were a babe at Joanna's breast. You smile like Geryon and fight like Tig, and there's some of Kevin in you, else you would not wear that cloak. But Tyrion is Tywin's son, not you. I said so once to your father's face, and he would not speak to me for half a year. Men are such thundering great fools, even the sort that come along once in 1,000 years." Genna mentions that she did something that disappointed Tywin, causing her to fall out of his favour. However, it is not made clear if this mention of Tyrion being the most like Tywin is what facilitated Tywin's change of opinion. In the book A Feast for Crows, the crown grants the Tully's seat of Riverrun and its lands to Aemon Frey. However, the Blackfish Brynden Tully still holds the castle, and so it is besieged. When Jaime Lannister joins the siege accompanied by 1,000 reinforcements, Genna and her husband meet with him. She ends up dismissing Aemon so that she and Jaime can talk in private. Genna advises Jaime to execute the captive Edmure Tully, telling her nephew, "He is soft of heart and soft of head, I know, but alive, the man is still a danger. What do you mean to do about that, Jaime?" She also admits that she would have preferred that the crown granted her Darry instead of Riverrun, as House Darry is extinct in the male line as opposed to House Tully. Genna even sits in on Jaime's war council. Lady Genna claimed her stool with a look that dared any man there to question her presence. None did. After Jaime successfully takes Riverrun without force by convincing Edmure to treat with his uncle the Blackfish, Genna and her husband express their discontent at the nature of the acquisition, especially seeing as the Blackfish was allowed to escape, and Jaime promises Edmure that the castle's garrison could also leave unharmed, providing that they swore oaths never to take up arms against their overlords. Lady Genna tells Jaime that if you're fortunate, 1 man in 10 may keep that vow. Genna and Aemon now hold Riverrun with their own garrison of over 200 men. Let's see if that changes at all come the Winds of Winter. Thank you all so much for watching this 10th episode of Spotlight Game of Thrones. If you enjoyed the video, please do share among your friends and subscribe to the channel, as it helps to justify me dedicating more time to making videos, and thusly I can get them out more frequently for you. Thank you again for watching, and be sure to check out the other episodes of Spotlight along with my new series in 60 seconds for a much more light-hearted look at the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.